Hey everybody, and welcome to Gaming with Vindicator, where we're building the city of Mikelsfjord. And here we have it, our new shell of our downtown. And last episode, I spent demolishing the whole thing. What I put about a year of work into. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't quite that much. I didn't work that hard on it. But, we have a lot of new expansion packs, DLCs, and CCPs, and we've got a lot of new assets that we can use to make a downtown look spectacular, especially the Skyscrapers pack. And so I thought it would be best for me to just start over. Frankly, I'm a better player and I've gotten into detailing. And so when you can do something like this, I think it's going to make for a much, much better downtown. And so we've got the shell, now we need to start filling it out and making it look like a real world-class downtown. And so how we're gonna do this is to phase it. So in this episode, I wanna do basically 3 or 4 things. I wanna line this avenue with tall, tall towers. I remember moving to Toronto when I was like 24 and just walking around and being surrounded by all these huge buildings and feeling like, that's so cool that humanity is capable of this. And rather than making me feel small, it made me feel pretty amazing. So we're gonna try and replicate some of that feeling. The next thing we're gonna do is a little bit of detailed work around Arc Park here. And I'm thinking this would be a really cool shopping area, something like exists in Paris. And hey, we already have our Arc de Triomphe here, so it makes a little bit of sense that this would be a luxury shopping area. We're gonna use one of the districts for that. What else are we gonna do? We're gonna put in a bit of a sports facility and we're going to redo this port area. It's looking a little shabby, so we're gonna fix that. And then time permitting, I think we're gonna work on perhaps even moving this subway station and center it a little bit and perhaps creating a new little park area over here, a plaza. So you know what, let's just jump right in. We're gonna start in this block here and we're gonna just go block by block with some detailing and really make this look great. And the first thing we're gonna do is get in the, oh gosh, I forgot what it's called now. Let's take a look. Right, the Acro Castle apartment complex. I think that's from the Heart of Korea pack that we just got. I'd really like to do a few things. I'd like to center this building across the road. And so we're gonna do a little trick here with the roads to accomplish that. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to center the top of that circle in the middle of the square, in the middle of the grid, and try to eyeball this a little bit and go right across so that we have a road that's actually half a square off the regular grid, which should then allow us to place our Acro Castle right in the middle, which should be directly across from this building here. That's perfect. So it's about 1.5 squares off from each of these roads, and now I can delete this road and replace it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. And one other thing that I want to do is start thinking about this bike network. So we've got the startings of one here, but I would like for some of these smaller roads to carry bike traffic and become arteries around the downtown. We don't want too many of these bankers and these Wall Street types getting unfit. So let's give them a reason to bike around downtown and create a bike network with trees as well. So let's find the one that has, there it is, median trees and bicycle lanes. I'm thinking it might be nice to continue with our pine tree theme, given that this is a Nordic city. So let's see how it looks and fill it out. And you'll notice I'm not doing the street in the middle here. I want this vista to be preserved, so I don't want any trees in the way there. I wonder, did we remove them from here? Yes, we did. Great. Did we go a little wild with the trees? I don't know, maybe, but I kind of like the way that this looks. It really does feel like it's not even a downtown. It's a very livable space. And yeah, I'm liking it. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go block by block in this episode and just detail the heck out of this thing. What building is next? Let's see. There we have it, the National Trade Tower. I really love this building, especially that it has this, you know, this lower part around the base and then the tall tower. Yeah, and I think we might actually want to move that little space off the main road because it is kind of tight, and we do have some space in the back there. So yeah, we'll do the same trick. So I really want to get trees in here as well to cover up some of these little missed spaces here. So I'm going to try and just rejig the pathway network just a tiny bit. We'll turn off some of the snap twos and see if we can get it. Yeah, I think that looks good. I know there's those little blank spaces underneath, but hey, who's gonna see those, right? So yeah, the more detailing the better in my mind. So we've got our third tower in here. Let's see what's next. I think what we're gonna do is move this one over here, the high interest tower, because I've got a plan for this space. So let's bring this back over here. And I think it's gonna fit, yeah, it's gonna fit perfectly snug between those two roads. This one actually has some built-in space away from the road, so that's kind of nice. What else do we want to do with this here? I wonder if we want to rejig this area just a little bit, or I'll come back to the subway and we're gonna move that around a little bit. So let's keep going down the way here and perhaps do some little bit of detailing. I do love that large bank building. That is just absolutely gorgeous, and you know, we're having a bit of trouble seeing that with the time of day. Let's see if we can adjust this just a little bit. Yeah, oh man, what a beautiful thing. That is absolutely gorgeous, and I like this one across the street too, Torre Central. And I think they're pretty much lined up. We'll just double check that they are close enough anyway. And yeah, let's see if we can get a few more in here and then maybe do some detailing around the park. So what I did was put in another pathway here because there are cars parked along the side of this terminal station here, and while that's not a road, it could be realistically a way for cars to get in here. Maybe it's like accessible parking or something like that. But yeah, I like the way that we're squeezing this in. And let's do another one on this side. Great, because there is parking on both of these sides of the station. So we'll figure out what else we can do with that. And back to our buildings here. I think it would make a lot of sense to have a little bit of a food option outside of the station here. And so we'll put that in, and I think we can get one more plaza in here. That fits perfectly. So what I'm trying not to do is just jam as many towers in here as I can. I want to leave a lot of public space. I want to leave a lot of plazas and food trucks and things of that nature. So maybe even some parks, and wherever I can get in some detailing. So I don't know if even in this space like this would be worth getting some detailing in there, but I definitely don't want to just jam this in with towers, because I know there are parts of some large cities downtown where it does feel very much like it's just concrete, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to overdo it with the concrete. We do want to have some options for people to walk, have lunch, relax, maybe go for a run even, or bike. And so that's how we roll. That's the kind of downtown we're going to have here. Okay, now that we know basically where our towers are going, I think it's time to start putting in our buildings around the park here. And the first thing I want to do is create a new district. So currently the whole of downtown basically is this Stavanger, and it's set for, I believe one of the policies is, I guess we don't have a style, but you know what I want to do is I want to make that modern city center for buildings that do pop up here. And I also want to give it the do I want offices? Yeah, we're probably gonna have a few offices, and we'll kind of just, for now, I want to put in the IT cluster. Actually, you know what? I don't want to go too crazy with that, so we're not going to put that yet. I'll do maybe just some small pockets of IT clusters, just so we get the big, tall towers, which I love. But for now, we're going to carve out just a new district here. So just a little bit of a messy district now, but there's a functionality here I'm going for. And that is, I want to, has it been called now? Is it Dean Park? Yes, I think so. So we want to put this as, oh my gosh, what did we want? Oh, and look, there's a new shopping malls here, which is awesome. Right, so I think what I want to do is the wall-to-wall policy. I think that's going to give us some really cool commercial buildings that aren't too tall, that actually look like upscale shopping areas. So we've got to go into our districts here. We've got to go to our commercial policies and select the commercial wall-to-wall. And now the next thing we want to do is a little bit of fencing. Because of the odd area here, we're going to have to make sure they're building zone on the proper roads. And so we'll go get our regular park fence. Oh, new fences too, isn't that cool? And we're going to try and maximize our zonable land here. So I'm going to go across the back and cut that off. So we've got now a nice 3 deep. And I'm not sure if it's going to do much to go behind here. Not getting any more usable space, but that's fine. We'll just we'll block it off anyway, just to show that this is kind of an exclusive area, and we'll do this all around the roundabout here. Okay, so I've fenced off the back of these lots so that I can get most of them loading onto this roundabout. And I've tried to give myself as deep as possible lots, and where it's not possible, that's fine. We're gonna get some 2 deep, some 1 deep, and it should give us a nice little variety of buildings. And so actually we'll start to run this, and we'll see if we can't get some of these buildings to load in here. And we'll see how our little luxury shopping area turns out. So let's see how it's fleshing out. Yeah, some buildings are coming in, and yeah, they look really modern and luxurious. So we're gonna roll with that. We're gonna let it flesh out for a little bit, but I think once we have that in, it's gonna make for a really nice posh area here. I love these buildings. You know, they're a little bit wild with some of these decals, but I think that's really cool. I think it's very modern. And next I'm gonna bounce up here. No, actually we're gonna bounce down here, and we're gonna put in another special building in this area. So we're gonna just rethink this whole area. Okay, so we've got our beautiful football stadium in here. I really love this asset, and I think it's gonna make a really beautiful addition to downtown. And you might be thinking, hey, this is downtown. Real estate must be just insane. And why would you put such a low-rise building in here? But you know, a lot of major metropolises do have these sports stadiums downtown. It's a great way to attract a lot of people down here, and those people buy dinners, they buy beers and things like that. So it's a great way to attract a lot of business downtown. And because we put this a little bit off from the road here, we're going to put in some little few things in front here. All right, so just like in front of the main station over there, we've got our taxi stand in and we've got our pedestrian tunnel. And you know, I wish in this game that we could connect pedestrian tunnels to subway stations. That would make a lot of sense. That's what happens in real life, but we can't. So let's just hope that people are smart enough to use the crosswalk here and get from these major destinations to the subway to get up and down the line here. Okay, what's next? So there's this whole big area over here that's not being utilized, and I think it would make a lot of sense to start working in a bit of a waterfront over here. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to rebuild my metro line, or my my monorail line rather. So we're gonna move that over just a little bit, and we're gonna get in some new plazas and a bit of a waterfront feeling over here. So it kind of drives me nuts when this terrible zoning stuff happens, and that's just a function of this road being a little bit too long. So I'm going to rejig it a little bit and see if we can get everything centered on in front of this stadium. Yeah, that's better. Let's keep going. So I've started with snapping to grid and angle, and then turn the grid off, and just so I can get as long as possible of a pathway here. And I'm just going to be able to connect it to this this boardwalk here, the key wall. So we'll put, again, grid on, click and snap, and then we'll turn it off. And yeah, gotta turn it off. And there we go. Good, so now we're actually creating a walkable waterfront. These key walls are actually pedestrian paths as well, so perfect. Yeah, so I think we've done something really cool here, which is maintain our sight lines from the stadium. When people come out, they can see you know, the waterfront, they can see the statue of Colossalis, and they've got a little place to you know, have maybe a beer before they go into the game, or grab a bite to eat at the food truck over here. And let's just rejig this Sea and Sky Tower over to where it belongs. And we'll also create a little bit of a connectivity ped pathway over here. And it's unfortunate that I can't get a pathway under this bridge to connect over to that side, but you know, I think people can kind of get through here and cross the road a little bit. I believe it's actually walkable, even though the headroom is low. Pedestrians can walk through there. So we are maintaining a lot of pedestrian connectivity, and we're creating something that is turning into something beautiful eventually. But let's get our monorail back because it's broken, and unfortunately I forgot that when I run it, I'm probably going to break those stations. So we'll have to fix that. Here we go. That's a little bit smoother. I don't quite understand how these tracks work, but hey, we're making it work. Something went wrong there. We're dropping down here for some reason. Man, the terrain might be off a little bit, or my heights might be off a little bit, but let's take another stab at that. Okay, beautiful. So now let's see if we can fix these tracks here. Yeah, it's saying cannot find path. I wonder if it just needs a minute to get itself sorted out, or if I've just irreparably broken it. I've noticed the monorails, they don't do too well when you break it. Oh, it appears to be fixed again. Let's just double check that we have all of our stops here. Hey, it appears to have fixed itself, so, you know, small victories here. That's great. What's next? So there's one more tower I want to get in here, and it's going back to my Toronto days again when, you know, Toronto's iconic for the CN Tower, which stands right next to the what was called the Sky Dome is now I think it's the Rogers Center, where they play baseball. So we're gonna put in a tall tower here, kind of like the Seattle Needle or Space Needle, I think it's called. And let me find that and plop that in here. Yeah, cool. So again, I think that really pairs nicely, and you know, some of these tall towers, they are the iconic building in a lot of cities around the world. So we should have one too, and now we do. All right, another little thing I want to do on this side of the main station here is finalize a little bit of this road layout and get another crossing over here. So I think, you know, it's a very long way for people to go from this side all the way around to get this way. So I'm thinking a crossing here would make a lot of sense. Okay, now we have a little bit more additional connectivity. And you know, while we're here, I think we're gonna have to protect people from running onto these tracks. So let's get a little bit of fencing going here. It's too bad that without moving I can't get the fence the rest of the way here. So I might just have to go under. Can that work? Okay, we've protected some stupid teenagers from jumping on the tracks, and unfortunately that's really jagged, and you know, with the key wall in here, I don't think it's really fixable. So I'm gonna be lazy on this one and just let it be. But we will clean up a little bit of this ugly darkness here, and we'll throw some vegetation on top of that. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's a bit of unusable land that you know, the railway company just doesn't bother cleaning the outsides, but they clear the insides. Am I getting too detailed? Who knows? Probably. Yeah, so the next little area I want to touch is this. This looks a little bland, and I don't really want people in here, but I do want it looking kind of nice, so we're going to do just a little bit of detailing under here. So I know it's really not necessary to detail little areas like this, but I think it adds a little bit when you do start thinking about all the little pieces of your city. And while I'm at it, we'll flesh out this little area here, but I'm noticing that people are walking all the way around to get to these parks, so we need to give them a bit of a better crossing here. All right, so we've just made it easier for people to start using some of these amenities. And we also, I'm quite proud of myself, I matched up the Young London. So hey, that's a win for symmetry. What else can we do with this space? Let's just do something minor. Yeah, you know what? We'll take it. It adds something. And it's really unfortunate that this silly key wall is actually preventing me from putting anything even closer than this. So I'm not sure why it is that way, but it is that way. So we'll just leave it. Can we do anything on the shoreline here? You know, I think I'm not going to go too crazy today with the shoreline because we're going to do a little bit more. What I will do, however, is start using some of this space. It's actually usable land. All right, the next thing I want to do is a little bit of work around the subway plaza, and I want to get in a new, what do you call it, a little park in here. And so I'm gonna just get started on that and see how it turns out. So yeah, here we go. And now, so since I'm gonna turn this block into a small park with this botanical garden here, I want to recenter the subway on this park, and actually that's going to give us a little opportunity to move this building off the road a little bit by one tile, because it is really close. There's no real symmetry with the other building, and so I love things to line up. We're just going to have to play with the roads just a touch, and the way we do that is we use our little trick here. So this is really interesting. One thing I've noticed happens when you have some of the new skyscrapers near a pathway is that it starts thinking that this is a bridge. And I have no idea why that's the case, but it means I'm just gonna have to move this tower a little bit. You got me. I gotta move that building. How are we gonna actually make that work? So I'm not quite sure. Can I get a different path in there? It's still giving me a bridged effect, which won't be quite functional, won't let people, I don't know, I wonder, will it let people get in there? We might just have to do, you know what, let's just play with it a little bit and see what I can do. We'll leave it at that, and that doesn't look too bad, so we'll put a few little detailing effects in here. Alright, that's a significant upgrade, I think, and we're getting there. So let's reconnect this subway first of all. We'll run this and see if that reconnects itself or if I've completely broken it. Cannot find paths, so we'll let that run a bit, and I might have to just rebuild this from scratch. Okay, we'll give it a brand new line, and let's hope that that fixes it. Okay, so we've centered our subway on the park. Let's actually do some detailing on this park. I think that because this is a botanical garden, we might see some very interesting flowers, some plants. Let's see if we can make this a little bit cool. So I'd love crosswalks here, but I'm not sure it's gonna be feasible with the tools that I have, so I think we'll just leave it alone. So that might be just a bit too much red. We'll see if we can tone that down a bit. Just don't love those. Green is kind of boring. That's a little too wild as well. I think we'll stick with this one. Alright, that's looking fairly botanical, and I'm not sure. We'll maybe think about the pink trees on the roadside here, but no, it's looking pretty good. And I think this is a really fantastic idea that, you know, you come out of the subway and there is this beautiful little garden. It's almost like a, I don't know. It's almost like a park, because it is. So that's fantastic. I love how this is turning out. Is there anything else we want to do before we wrap this episode? Okay, so the one thing I did want to do is just see how this this little park area fleshed out, and so far so good. That's, wow, yeah, this is definitely looking like, you know, you've got your posh shopping malls in here, your Gucci's and your Louis Vuittons and things like that. So yeah, this is a really nice compliment. I like the low-rise buildings next to the monument, the park. And I like that this is it's going to be a very pedestrian-friendly area. Despite the 6-lane roads through here, I think this is going to be somewhere that people would come to shop or maybe have their afternoon coffee or something like that. And, you know, there's definitely just a bit more detailing required, but I'd like to maybe start filling in some of the other towers, which we're going to do in a future episode. So, you know, at this stage, I think we'll leave it here. I'm going to sort of play with this after I stop recording and figure out what it is I want to do next. And I can tell you I have a vision for this whole area. So we've lined the middle of this avenue here with those tall towers, some of those bigger buildings. And I think what we want to do is we want to start building out this area next. We're going to throw some of the tallest towers in the game in here, and then we're going to throw maybe some on this side, and we're going to start stepping down on this side. And at the same time, we're going to build out this waterfront, probably expand it a little bit, maybe take advantage of this island over here and do something really beautiful with the waterfront. And then maybe even later down the road, we'll turn this area into a sort of government buildings area. So we're going to leave it here. I really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much for taking the time. I love doing this. It's so much fun for me to just play and relax. And I'm glad you're along for the ride with me. So if you did enjoy this, just hit the like button. And if you want to get notified about new episodes, click that little notification bell and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.